Hello once again, guys. So we're back here with our series of ranking the top 10 bladers of every single episode of Beyblade Metal series. And now we're gonna do Metal Masters, of course. Last video we did Metal Fusion, the whole 51 episodes, and we're 52 images because I separated one episode in two, but it doesn't matter. Nobody cares about that. But now we're gonna have from episode 52 to episode 102. I think it is. I think it's episode 102, which is the last episode of Beyblade Metal Masters. So yeah, long video ahead. Get prepared, get your popcorn, and we go. So this is how we ended season 1, of course, with the monster Ryuga there, and this is the top 10 we had, Jinga leading the way. And for episode 52, which is the first one of Metal Masters, we're going to be leaving Ryuga, Doji, and Reggie out of this ranking, because Ryuga, we don't know. The Eldrago got rid of the Dark Power, Jinga saved him, and we don't know now, was Eldrago only strong because of the Dark Power? Is Ryuga gonna come back? We just don't know at this point, so he's not here. Doji as well, his bay got broke, so probably he's not gonna battle in the next few episodes, or never anymore. And Reggie, we just don't see him anymore. He could be still here, but I mean, we are gonna take him out because, I don't know. I shouldn't have taken him out, actually, now that I think about it, but who cares? He would be behind Tsubasa and ahead of you, if anyone is wondering where Reggie would be, but it doesn't even matter because he never appears anymore. The only new character here is Masamune Kadoya. He's gonna be fitting in number 6 because he appeared in the middle of Tsubasa and Yu's battle. He battled with Yu, but he didn't convincingly prove himself to be stronger than Yu. They were pretty equal, so we're gonna leave him in 6th for now. As for episode 53, the Persistent Challenger, that's where we finally start to understand which kind of blader is Masamune, and as he battles Jinga again and again, we can probably place him above Yu for now. Episode 54, a new challenge, that is when we meet Tiyun and Mei Mei, which are two of the Chinese team members, of course. At this point, we are starting to know that there's going to be a world championship, and they are starting to try and gather information from the Japan team. And we have their 2v2, sorry, Jinga and Masamune against Tiyun and Mei Mei. And we do see Tiyun is quite a capable blader, and as for Mei Mei, she doesn't show as much strength, so we're gonna leave Tiyun ahead of Masamune, sort of close level to him, and maybe Tsubasa, and Mei Mei is gonna be down in 9th, behind Hyutaro and ahead of Kenta. And Hyutaro, take care because your time's coming, my boy. You are not battling anymore, and your time's gonna come. Episode 55, Tickets to the World. That is the episode where they have the selection tournament for Team Japan, which is called, of course, Gang Galaxy. And at this point, we're gonna move Benkei up to 9th place and Kenta fitting in 10th. We get rid of Hyutaro, and as for Benkei and Kenta, they did qualify ahead of Hyutaro, so they're gonna be moving ahead. And I just want to make a honorable mention for Sora, because Sora was the 7th strongest blader in the selection tournament, just behind Kenta, so that was a good improvement for him. Episode 56, the final battle, Leon versus Eagle. And in this episode, we are going to be moving Kyoya up to the front of the field. He had his battle with Tsubasa, and man, he did prove himself to be really strong. Jinga is still learning the power of his new base, so we're going to fit Kyoya ahead of Jinga at this point. Tsubasa moves up to 3rd as Ryo is not battling anymore, so he's gonna just slowly fade away in the rankings. Tsubasa did provide a great battle against Kyoya, and maybe he just didn't win because of that Dark Power starting to consume him. In episode 57, Soar into the World, as they formed a team to go to China for the first round of the championship. Nothing's gonna change because there aren't really major battles. However, in episode 58, the Bailing Temple in the Sky, from 3rd to 10th, everyone is gonna fall down a position because the Shion is introduced, and we're gonna place him up to 3rd. He had a good practice match against Jinga. He is the leader of the team Tiyun is placed in, and Tiyun is already a very decent blader, so we know the Cheyenne is even stronger, and we're gonna place him just behind Kyoya and Jinga for now. Episode 59, The Third Man. As the name of the episode says, we meet the third member of Wang Hujong, Chao Xin, and we're gonna place him in 9th. He's a bit stronger than Mei Mei. He's clearly a little level below Masamune, and I did place him below Yu, but he could be ahead of Yu at this point. We just don't know. Yu has not battled, but Yu had a close match against Masamune, so those three are in a close level, but Masamune a little bit of a step ahead. Episode 60, the World Championship begins. So, as the episode says again, the World Championship begins, and Masamune trains hard, beats Xiaoxin in his battle, which is the first one, and he's going to be moving up to 5th place. Ryo starting to drop a little bit more. Episode 61, Lacerta's Will. That is the episode where we have the battle between Chiyun and Tsubasa, and Tsubasa is finally completely dominated by the Dark Power for the first time, and he goes insane, and Chiyun still resists Tsubasa's relentless performance. So we're gonna move Chiyun up to 5th, and Tsubasa's gonna fall down to 6th because he's just a little bit discontrolled right now. So I don't think he should be placing above guys like Chiyun and Masamune. Of course, Chiyun not, because he did beat him. And Masamune could fit below Chiyun, but it's okay. I had to. You can choose 4th and 5th. We're kind of same level. Episode 62, The 4,000-Year-Old Secrets. So that's the episode of the last match between Gengen Galaxy and Wang Hujong. We have Jinga versus the Cheyenne, and Jinga puts in a great win with a lot of power, a lot of performance showing, and he's gonna take back 1st place in the rankings, demoting Kyoya to 2nd, because we haven't seen Kyoya battle since episode, if I'm not mistaken, 56 or something like that. So we don't know how much he's improving. Definitely a lot, but we have more of Jinga right now. Episode 63, Debate with a Hero's Name, as Gengen Galaxy moved to Russia and Europe, of course, to have the next battle against the Russian team. They meet Julian Konzern, who beats Gazur and his teammates easily and alone. So we're gonna place Julian up to 2nd straight away. He looks like a very strong blader, and he's gonna be a challenge for sure. As for Gazur, we're gonna place him up to 10th place there. Again, could be ahead of you, but you guys know I love you a little bit too much to just be placing him down and down, even though he was done dirty. But it just kills me, man. I just can't. So the next few episodes are the battle between Gengen Galaxy and Lavushka. So episode 64, 65, and 66 would be exactly the same rankings. However, in Yu's battle in Liber Departs for the Front against Alexis, he did put up a great performance that we missed from Yu since Metal Fusion. He needed that win, and that's going to move him up to 6th place. And again, could be below Chiyun. Chiyun looks like a strong blader, but Yu just proved how much of a genius he is. He found his way to break through the cheating that Alexis was doing in the stadium. So we're gonna give him credit, put him up to 6th place. Episode 67, the Festival of the Warriors. In this episode, we meet Sophie and Wales, which are the twin crowns of the Concern. They are basically his protectors, and we're gonna place them in 6th place. They have a very solid defense, but Jinga and Masamune were able to break through their defense together, and the only problem was, of course, the Black Excalibur from Julian Konzern, so that's gonna move him up to 1st place ahead of Jinga. But Sophie and Wales, they deserve credit for sure, but they're not that strong. It seems Jinga and Masamune are strong bladers, but they did beat through their most known move, the total defense there, quite easily. So, you know, it's just they're strong, but yeah. Episode 68, we meet again Wang Hujong. Gengen Galaxy and Wang Hujong train together, and there are not going to be any changes in their orders of the bladers. Episode 69 introduces us to a new little chapter of our story. The Scorching Hot Lion has Kyoya going into Africa and trying to get his place in the selection tournament for the team of Africa, of course. And in this episode, we meet Nile, and we're gonna place him straight into 5th place. He looks like a very strong blader. He really is respected by Kyoya, so for you to get respected by Kyoya, man, you have to be strong, you know? There are just a few bladers Kyoya respects, like Jinga, Yu, Tsubasa. I'm not even sure how much he respects Masamune, but, you know, most of the bladers don't earn his respect easily. So Nile is a very strong blader, and he gets his position in Team Africa as well. Episode 70, The Shocking Wild Fang. We do see Nile and Kyoya annihilating Team Chandora in the tournament match, and we're gonna move Kyoya back to 2nd place ahead of Jinga, and Jinga dropping down to the last step of the podium. As for episode 71, Horoseals versus Striker, we're finally gonna see Gangan Galaxy versus Wild Fang, and nothing's gonna change here. Nile beats Masamune, so he stays ahead of him. Episode 72, Eternal Rivals, has the battle between Kyoya and Jinga, where they draw. So nothing fairer than putting them together in 2nd place there. And as one more position is possible for us to place someone, I'm gonna put the leader of the Team Chandora there, because he's a very talented blader. So for the sake of mentioning him, we're gonna put him there. As in episode 73, the 3rd match on the edge, we have Tsubasa and Yu against Benkei and Damare, and we're gonna put Damare up to 10th place. He's a very skilled blader, and him with Benkei, who we know is nowhere near as strong as Tsubasa and Yu. They did give them Tsubasa and Yu a good fight, so Damare is a good reason of that. He has that eyesight of him, so he's a very talented blader. We're gonna put him there. As Tsubasa goes up to 5th place, as his power is so destructive, Damare, Benkei, and Yu got ruined by it, and he's gonna move up to 5th there. Quite a few positions ahead now, because this power seems a little bit too destructive. In episode 74, the end of a fierce struggle, we have the 2v2, Jinga and Masamune against Kyoya and Nile, which ends up with only Masamune staying in the stadium, and nothing changes in the rankings. Episode 75, nothing changes either. The Creeping Darkness is when we learn that Tsubasa has the dark power that Ryuga had in his Eldrago. Episode 76, the Axe of Destruction, we meet Klaus, which is the reserve member of Team Excalibur, and he did beat Chi-Yun. But Chi-Yun got, he fight with all he had, so we're gonna give him credit for that, one more position above you, but Klaus is gonna fit in 5th. He looks really strong, a blader who, you know, how is he the reserve when Sophie and Wales place below him? We don't know. We will never know, but it is what it is. He's in 5th. As for episode 77, the Dragon Emperor returns. We have the return, of course, of himself, Ryuga, with his new Bay Meteor Eldrago, and he's gonna be straight away up to 1st place, showing why he's the Dragon Emperor. Man, that guy just gives us chills, doesn't he? And we're gonna have Julian dropped to not only 2nd but 3rd, because Julian seems scared. You know, he's just, at this point we're just like, okay, this guy's not that strong. He's strong, but Jinga's gonna beat him. Their match is approximating, and Jinga's gonna beat him for sure. So we're gonna move Jinga and Kyoya above him. We don't need that battle between Jinga and Julian to just realize that at this point Jinga is gonna beat him. We just feel it. And sadly, Yu has dropped out of the rankings. Yeah, guys, so this is where I go off. I'm gonna leave the channel to you, do what you want, because Yu is not more in the rankings, and I'm gonna cry. Episode 78, Exceed the Limit, Klaus versus Masamune. That's the battle that we see in this episode. And Klaus beats Masamune as well, so he's gonna stay ahead of Masamune in 7th. Episode 79, Dark Ego. Tsubasa finally finds a way to get rid of the dark power, and he's now a new man, and he beats Sophie and Wales basically alone. So that's gonna guarantee him a change in his profile picture, because he doesn't change his position, because he was already pretty high. But just be aware, he's a little bit stronger than he was. Episode 80, Gravity Destroyer, is the battle between Jinga and Julian Konzern, and Jinga beats him. Of course, we just knew it would happen. So Jinga finally gets rid of sharing the position with Kiyoya. The most Kiyoya to third, Julian to fourth, and because of that, Chiyun is no more with us. Now we have the Garcia arc, so episodes 81, 82, and 83 will not give us any changes in the rankings. However, episode 84 will. Charge Ray Gill, we finally see Argo, the leader of Team Garcia, in action. And we're going to place him in 9th. Could be 8th. I mean, he's a very similar blader to Klaus in terms of raw power. Maybe a bit more intelligent, but not as focused, maybe. They are very close, and with Nio too, these bladers are close in terms of power, but he's definitely stronger than Masamune. The reason why nothing changed in the previous episodes was because the other bladers of Team Garcia aren't that strong, not enough to figure in the rankings. Selin, Enzo, and who's the other guy again?
Kenshi, Ben, and what's your name? Special move!
Oh, Ian. These three, Enzo's a cheater, Selin just runs, and Ian just battles well in the Cyclone Stadium, so they don't deserve a place here. Argo does, though. Episode 85, my friend's name is Zio. We finally meet Zio, who is a friend that Masamune talks about quite a lot, and he could figure in 10th in the rankings, but at this point we just don't know if he's stronger than Masamune. I don't think he is, so he's not even gonna fit there. Episode 86, our slogan's number 1, is just a backstory episode, so nothing changes in the present. In episode 87, the plot thickens, we have the battle between Ryuga and Zio, and we finally see something of Zio, but Ryuga just noticed him. However, in episode 88, the Compass of Fate fixes. Zio is sort of beating Jinga and Masamune together. They're not fighting really, they just want to talk to him, but we just see a bit of him, so let's just place Zio there in 10th. But who cares, because in episode 89, the Wicked Peacock, Befall, we see Jack. And he's stronger than Zio. He's another member of Starbreaker, the American team, and he's gonna be up to 7th place. And just like Klaus, Argo, Nio, Tsubasa, these guys that second character who's really strong. Of course, Argo is a team leader, but he has that sort of level of the other guys. Episode 90, the guard dog of Hades, Kerbex. We meet Damien, who destroys Julian's hopes, and he's gonna be up immediately to 2nd place. He looks like an even bigger threat than Julian when he arrives. Maybe not as big as Ryuga, because it's Ryuga, but probably above Jinga. We're gonna feed him there. Episode 91 won't provide us any changes in the rankings, and neither will episode 92, the final countdown. That's the episode where Zio beats Masamune. But let's be honest, if Zio didn't scream that Toby was gonna die if he lost, Masamune would have at least drawn that battle, because they were not that different in terms of power, and Masamune is not even in the list anymore, so I don't think Zio would be either. Episode 93, the Dragon Emperor Descends, is where we have the battle between Ryuga and Jack, where Ryuga finally got his revenge, but I'm not going to change anything in the rankings either. As for 94, we have the start of the battle between Jinga and Damien, and in episode 95 we have the end of it, with Jinga beating him and jumping up to 2nd place. As Team Gang and Galaxy win the World Championship, we find out that Dr. Zigura was actually planning to use the World Championship to gather information and use the bladers of the Team Starbreaker to just construct a crazy big city that flies and something. And why am I saying that? It doesn't change anything. Episode 97, Charge, Hades City. All our protagonists run to the Hades City to try and stop Dr. Zigura, and there are no major battles. It's a lot more running and less battling, so we're not going to change anything. However, in episode 98, we have the battle between the Cheyenne and Julian, and that's going to grant the Cheyenne Julian's spot in the top 5, as he did beat the Fallen Emperor. Episode 99, False Trap, we have the battle between Jack and Tsubasa, where Tsubasa wins, so nothing fairer than just keeping him ahead. And in episode 100, The Wild Beast Unleashed, we have one of the best episodes of all Beyblade Metal series, which is Kyoya versus Damien, where Kyoya unleashes the lion inside him and beats Damien in a crazy explosive battle, and that grants him a spot back in the top 3. Won't last long though, because in episode 101 we meet Faust, or Toby. I mean, we did meet Toby before, but this time it's Faust, but he's Toby. But yeah, he's first. He's just a machine. He controls time. He's just broken. Even Ryuga probably would lose to him, but he's a machine. It's just cheating. Ryuga's still the GOAT, but he fits first. And in episode 102, Galaxy Heart, everyone is saved. Faust won't even exist anymore. But that's just, we just talk about that for Metal Fury, okay? Because I don't know what to say about Faust, for real. He's just like really strong, but he's a freaking machine. Without the cables, he probably would lose to Ryuga. So this is the final list of Metal Masters, guys. I mean, Tsubasa, Jack, Nio, Klaus, those are the guys that are for sure competing for the bottom of the top 10. As Ryuga, Jinga, Kyoya, Damien, and the Cheyenne, those guys are just not even a question. They have to be where they are. I mean, count Toby if you want, Faust if you want, because Toby wouldn't be in the top 10 in his previous self. But count Faust if you want. For me, he's still a machine. But anyways, I hope you guys liked it. I tried to do it a little bit quicker than I did Metal Fusion because it was just such a long video, and this time I want to make it a little bit shorter, a little bit more dynamic, because of course boarding 51 episodes, it does quite a lot of work. But Metal Masters was a bit easier than Metal Fusion too, because some episodes, they just don't add much to the rankings, because like the arc of the Team Lavushka and Team Garcia don't have many strong bladers, so we can just skip through those episodes a little bit quicker. And just stay tuned, subscribe if you are new around here, and get ready because I'm gonna be making Metal Fury soon, and yeah, maybe Shogun soon as well. I don't know, probably. Don't care. Bye guys, have a great week. See ya.